Good morning, students. Today we will start our next chapter, chapter number 5, minerals and rocks. This is the lecture number 1 of chapter number 5. Minerals and rocks. First of all, what do you mean by minerals? If we saw on the earth, our earth is composed of various kinds of elements. These elements are some are found in form, some are in liquid form. But when we talk, so these elements are in solid form in the outer layer of the earth and in hot and molten form in the interior, right? Minerals are found in solid form over the earth's surface, and when we talked about lava or molten magma, it is in the liquid form inside the earth, right? So about 98% of the total crust of the earth is composed of 8 elements. These 8 elements are oxygen, aluminium, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, right? And the rest is constituted by titanium, hydrogen, phosphorus, manganese, sulfur, carbon, nickel, and other elements. So majorly of 90% of our earth is composed of 8 minerals, 8 elements, right? So these 8 elements making up our lithosphere. Although these elements are very limited, only 8 to 12 elements are there, but they combine in different ways. They make chemical composition with other animals in such a way they can form a variety of minerals, right? So these 8 elements make chemical compositions with one another and make a huge variety of earth. 2000 type of minerals we found on the earth's surface, right? So the basic source of all minerals is the hot magma in the interior of the where the minerals come, right? From where the minerals come, they come from the magma. Here you can see it is in a liquid form. In the outer core, there is iron and nickel is present in the outer core. When the volcano takes place, these minerals along with this magma comes out of the crust, right? So when they came on the crust, they give us a variety of minerals which were originally in the magma. So crystals of minerals appear, and their systematic series of minerals are formed in sequence to solidify and so as to form rocks. When these minerals come on the crust, so slowly and gradually these magma, which is known as lava, or when it comes on the crust, it begins to solidify. When it begins to solidify, the crystals of minerals begin to appear, and when it solidified, these minerals arrange in a solidification, and this solidification is known as rock, right? So basically rocks are formed by different kind of minerals. Different type of minerals composed the rocks. Minerals, here we talked about some inorganic minerals which comes from the lava. Some are organic, minerals such as coal, petroleum, and natural gas. They are formed from organic substances and found in solid, liquid, and gaseous form respectively. So when the living things like plants and animals, their dead remains buried inside the earth, they turn into minerals like coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Where coal is a solid form, petroleum is in liquid form, and while natural gas is found in gaseous form. Correct? Now, what are the main characteristics of the minerals, right? So, minerals. What are minerals? Basically, what do you mean by minerals? Minerals are rock building blocks. Here you can see a rock where different kind of sports you can see, right? It is a rock particle. If we zoom it, you can see here is a some white spots, one black spots, one some gray spots are also there. Some multi shades are there. These are minerals. So this rock is composed of different kind of minerals. Here also you can see a different kind of minerals which are found in different colors, like yellow, green, purple. All these are known as minerals. Clear? Here you can see a white. Now, how you can classify? This is a diamond. Diamond is used to make a jewelry. Here you can see a ring. So diamond is a mineral which is used to make a jewelry. This is fluoride. Fluoride is used to making toothpaste. Here you can see the minerals are used in our daily life. When the toothpaste ingredients consist fluoride, it means it consists fluoride mineral. Here another example is talc. Talc is a very soft mineral which is used to make baby powders. So talcum powders we say. It means it is made by talc. It is a gypsum to prepare building material. These are used to for in different way in our daily life. But what makes a mineral? A mineral consists 5 criteria, right? First, the substance must exist as a solid under normal conditions on Earth. We can say a substance to be a mineral when it is found in its solid form. Right here, you see the different minerals which are in solid form. Second, the substance must be naturally occurring on Earth, not man-made. Right, so it is found naturally by nature. Man-made things are not considered as minerals. The third criteria, the substance must be inorganic, not made from living things like plant leaves. Plant leaves are living things, so they are not considered as a minerals. Minerals are inorganic substances like iron, aluminium. All these are considered as the minerals which are inorganic. They do not consist any living things. Basically, we cannot say coal, petroleum, and natural gas as minerals because they are also consist of living things, but their dead remains makes a mineral, and that why we considered as it mineral. Now, minerals are made up of specific chemical composition. Like quartz, quartz is made up of silica and oxygen. Similarly, pyrite is made up of ferrous and sulfur. Two atoms of sulfur and one ferrous is made pyrite. So definite chemical composition should be there. The fifth criteria is the substance, again it is the substance fixed chemical composition. Yeah, the atoms that make of the substance must be arranged in an orderly structure. It can, the substances in any mineral are made in a specific structure. Here you can see one example of silica tetrahedra. Here you can see the silica tetrahedra, the composition of its. Here you can see the gray color is a silicon atom, and here is 4 oxygen atoms. So they arranged in such a form. Always they are arranged in such a form when they can make a chemical composition. So they are properly orderly structure, right? So these are the basic 5 criteria when we talked about a thing that is a mineral. They should complete these 5 criteria. First is solid. Second, it should be naturally occurring. Third, it should be inorganic. Fourth, fixed chemical formula should be there, and they have specific atomic arrangement, right? So in the liquid form, any material, we cannot say it's a mineral, but in the solid form we can say yes, this is a mineral, correct? So these are the 5 criteria which we use to make a thing a mineral. Now, what are the main physical properties of minerals, right? How do I identify minerals? First is to explore minerals' physical characteristics and ways to use them for mineral identification. There are some physical characteristics on which basis we can differentiate the minerals from one another. First is color, and second is strength, luster, breakage, hardness, and some other physical properties. We will discuss one by one. First is color. The visible color that a mineral sample appears to the naked eyes. When we saw a thing from our naked eyes, its color appears, but it is not a reliable characteristic. Why? When we differentiate mineral, the color is not reliable, because here in an example, here you can see 2 minerals are there. First is quartz and second is fluoride. They both are of purple color. How would we differentiate both of these? By these colors, because they have same colors. One more example is there. They have some white grayish color, but first is calcite and second is halite, but they have same color. The third example is both are metallic colors, but first is magnetite and second is galena. Minerals are different, but colors are same. That's why we say that colors are not a reliable uh, characteristic. Here, all these are the samples of quartz. Quartz are found in different colors. So how would we differentiate a mineral from other on the basis of color? So we do not consider color a reliable concept to differentiate the minerals. Now, how would we differentiate? We differentiate it on the basis of streak. What do you mean by streak? The color of the mineral in its powder form. When we make a powder of a mineral, what color it appears? So streak is tested by rubbing a sample against an unglazed plate. Here the 2 plates are there. First is white and second is black. We took 2 minerals and rub it in on plates. Here black powder and this mineral appears. So when these minerals are in their powder form, they appears different colors. Same here, this mineral appears grayish black color when we on a glazed plate. Similarly, there black mineral appears blue lines, blue minerals appears white lines, light blue color, light blue white color. So when we make it in powder form, they appears different type of colors. So streak is a powder form of color. The third characteristic is luster. Luster is shiny, the way in which light reflects over mineral surface. When we reflect a light on the mineral, what it appears. The main types are metallic and non-metallic. Additional lusters include vitreous, resinous, purely, greasy, silky, and all that. Metallic lusters you can see in the picture, it is a metallic luster. There is a shining and metallic shining is there. So that is known as metallic luster. Okay. In the daily life we use metals, right? Non-metallic lusters you can see here. It is not in grayish form. This is non-metallic luster. The fourth is breakage. Breakage is when we break a mineral, in which form it will break. It can be seen in the two forms, cleavage and fracture. Right. So first is display cleavage break along smooth planes parallel to zones of weak bonding, where there is a weak zone in a mineral from where we break it, breakage, right? So the smooth planar surfaces of weakness along which a mineral has pronounced tendency to split is known as cleavage, right? Minerals that display fracture tend to break along curved surfaces. Here you can see the examples of cleavage. Here you can see there is a breaking, there is a tendency to weaken points. There is also some weakened point in these minerals from where we can break it, right? When we hit it on these breaking points, how would they broke? Similarly, the fracture, as in there is a fracture in our bones. It split into different pieces, right? Not a particular shape. That is fracture. The next is hardness. Some minerals are hard while some minerals are rocks. The hardest minerals is diamond and the softest mineral is tal. How would we measure the hardness? It is measured on the Mohs scales of hardness, which is from 1 to 10. Near the 10, the hardest the mineral. Nearer to 1, it is the softer of the mineral. Here in this picture, you can see the 1. Talc is a 1. So it is the softest mineral, while diamond hardness is 10 moles. So it is the hardest mineral. And between these two, there are gypsum, calcite, fluorite, apatite, ortholog orthocross, quartz, topaz, and corundum, right? So they have different Mohs scale, right? So the softest mineral over the earth is talc, and the hardest mineral over the surface of the earth is diamond, right? So softness and hardness can be measured when we break a mineral. How would it take time to break? Clear? Some other characteristics are also there from which we can differentiate the minerals from one another. The calcite bubbles when exposed to light. When we throw acid on a calcite, they form bubbles. Fluoride glows under ultraviolet lights, right? So there is a luster characteristic. Calcite displays double refraction. Here you can see the surface, blue and white surface can be seen from the calcite. So some minerals have different structures. Magnetite is magnetic, so it has some magnetic characteristics. Halite tastes salty, it is salty. So salty is also a physical, salt is also a physical characteristics of the minerals. So what is important? All of minerals physical characteristics are the result of its internal arrangement of atoms. How the atoms will in arranged in a mineral, that is very much important. because all these physical characteristics of the minerals are based upon these arrangement. Now the question arises, the types of minerals, right? So the next is types of minerals. There are two types of mineral. If we classify the minerals on the broad basis, there are two type of minerals. First is metallic mineral, non-metallic minerals. Metallic minerals are also subdivided into three categories. First is precious metals. Precious metals, metallic minerals, it means the minerals which contain some metal content, that is known as metallic content minerals, and it can be divided into three types. First is precious metals. Precious metals like gold, silver, platinum. If we purchase these metals, they cost very high, so these are known as precious metals because they are very less in less amount. Second is ferrous metals. As its name suggests, ferrous means iron. So when some metals contain some iron content, that ferrous metals. And for example, iron is a ferrous metal which is used to make different kinds of steel. Third is non-ferrous metals, which means the metals which do not include iron content, like copper, lead, zinc, tin, aluminum. All these minerals do not contain any iron content. So these are known as non-ferrous metals. Now come to the next category, non-metallic minerals. Non-metallic minerals are those minerals which do not contain any kind of metal, whether it is iron or non-iron, but they do not have any metal. So like sulfur, phosphates, nitrates, which we use as a manure, right? So these are some examples of non-metallic minerals because they do not contain any kind of metal. Cement is a mixture of non-metallic minerals, right? So here we talked about the minerals. What is mineral, right? What is mineral and what is the criteria to be a substance, to be a mineral? Main physical characteristics of a mineral, right? Now come to the second part of this chapter, that is rock. What do we mean by rocks? As we talked about the minerals are uh, minerals arranged. When these minerals arranged in a specific form, they solidified and form the rocks. So the earth, our earth is composed of rocks. Different kinds of rocks are found on the earth's surface. We will talk about these types later on in this chapter. A rock is an aggregate of one or more minerals, because when the over the surface of the earth, it contains different kind of minerals, and these minerals arranged in such a form, they solidified and makes a rock. So the rock does not contain only single one mineral, they contain one or more minerals. Rock may be hard or soft and in varied colors because they are composed of minerals. We talked about the characteristics of minerals. Some minerals are soft, some minerals are hard. So basically the characteristics of rock is also based upon the type of mineral. If the rock is igneous, granite, for example, granite is a hardest rock, right? Similarly, soft rocks, limestone, soapstone is a soft rock. Gabbro is black and quartzite can be milky white because these color of these rocks are based upon the minerals by which they are formed. Rocks do not have definite composition of mineral constituents. It is not necessary that in a rock every mineral should be a proper proportion, right? So they do not have any definite form of mineral constituents. One mineral can be in high quantity and the other will be in deficit quantity in particular rock. Feldspar and quartz are the most common minerals found in rocks. It is these two minerals are the most commonly found in rocks which we found on the surface of the earth. Right now, there are one term regarding rocks. Now come to the next topic, type of rocks. First of all, before we discuss the type of rocks, you must know that the science of rocks is known as petrology. Remember it? When we talked about the rocks, when we get the knowledge of the rocks, when we identify by their texture, mineral composition, structure, origin, occurrence, alteration, and relationship with other rocks. When we studied all these things about the rocks, that is known as petrology. So petrology is the science of rocks. Remember it. So there are many different kinds of rock which are grouped under three families on the basis of their mode of formation, how the rocks are formed. So on the basis of their formation, there are three types of rocks. First is igneous rocks that are also known as primary rocks because they are primarily formed by the lava. When the magma and the lava solidified over the surface of the earth and inside the earth, they are formed igneous rocks. Second is sedimentary rocks, which are formed from igneous and metamorphic rocks, the result of deposition of fragments of rocks by exogenic processes. Exogenous processes means there are 5 agents like river, water, wind, glacier, ocean currents. All these 5 agents denude the rocks, igneous rocks as well as metamorphic rocks, and convert it into a fragments. When these fragments deposited and solidified, then the sedimentary rocks formed. Metamorphic rocks. When if a thing took birth, it always died, right? So when igneous rocks are formed, one time it will be died. How they will die? They will, by the tectonic forces, these rocks keeps on buried under the surface of the earth, and when these rocks buried, they changed on the surface of the earth under the pressure and heat. They also change their form, and these changed form of the igneous and sedimentary rocks are known as metamorphic rocks, because due to the heat and pressure, the crystals in the rocks, mineral crystals of the rock, keeps on changing. So they change their color, they change their texture, they change their composition. That is known as metamorphic rocks. Now we will focus one by one all the three. First of all, igneous rocks. What do you mean by igneous rocks? Igneous, as its name suggests, igneous means it derives from ignis word of Latin language. Latin, ignis means fire. So igneous rocks form out of magma and lava from the interior of the earth, and that's why they are known as primary rocks, because they are originally formed by the magma and lava. When the magma and lava comes from the inside, and when it reached over the earth's surface and came into the contact of atmosphere, it begins to cool down. When it began to cool down, it began to solidify, right? So when magma in its upward movement cools and turns into solid form, it is called igneous rocks. The solidification can happen in the earth's crust or on the surface of the earth. In the last chapter, we talked about the volcanic eruption and the different forms formed by the volcanic eruptions. Intrusive and extrusive forms we discussed, right? So when the magma solidified inside the, it is also formed igneous rocks, right? In the last chapter, we talked about the basalt. Basalt is it intrusive form, right? So basalt is a igneous rocks, but it is found granite that is found over the surface of the earth, that is also an igneous rock. So it can be in the earth's crust or on the surface of the earth. Now, classification of igneous rocks. There are some major classification based on the texture of igneous rocks. Texture depends upon size and arrangement of grains or other physical conditions of the materials. How the grains, how the minerals are arranged in a rock when it formed or arranged. What is their size? Right? Size and their arrangement, they change the texture of the igneous rocks. Now, if molten material is cooled slowly at great depths, mineral grains may be very large, because in the inside of the earth temperature is high. That's why the molten material will be cooled down very slowly, and when it takes a large time, the grains will be large, right? So it is directly proportionate to time. When the material take long time to cool down, the grains will be large, right? Sudden cooling at the surface result in small and smooth grains. When magma came on the surface of the earth, it came into the atmosphere contact, and due to the outer atmosphere, it cooled down very suddenly. So the particles of these kind of rocks will be small and smooth, right? So here in this picture, you can see there is a some rocks which are formed over the surface. These have small particles, while these have some large particles, because they found inside the earth, and they cools slowly, and they cools very fastly. So it is directly proportionate to time. When it takes more time, the cores or the grains will be larger. When the rocks take less time to cool down, then the particles will be small and smooth. Intermediate conditions. Between these two conditions of cooling, the size of grains will be intermediates, not too very large, not too very small. Some of examples of igneous rocks are granite, gabbro, pegmatite, basalt, volcanic breccia, and tuff. These are the major examples of igneous rocks. Clear? Now come to the second one, sedimentary rocks. Rest of the two and the rock cycle, we will discuss it in our next lecture. Till now, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Student, till now, if you have any doubt, you can ask regarding this chapter. You can raise your hand